I truly believe we have now reached a point where everyone has become sick and tired of the modern day influencer. So before I start this video, I never like to make a video where I just kind of rant and kind of call people out. That's not really what I like to do on this channel, but I believe it's very important that I make this video because I still see a lot of people, especially younger people, and this was myself a couple years ago, falling for a lot of manipulating sales tactics that a lot of influencers use. And like I say, I fell for this a couple years ago. I remember I think I was 20, maybe almost 21, and I bought Iman Gadzhi's course about, I can't even remember exactly what it was about. I think it was just about digital marketing and stuff that I wasn't really even that interested in. I didn't know a lot about it. I remember I even had like a call with someone regarding about it, and they were like, oh, maybe you probably shouldn't go for it. But he just presented that kind of scarcity mindset that I was like, well, if I don't get it now, then I'm gonna miss out. And I can't. I've had time and time and again, I've had email from Iman Gadzhi and other influencers saying like, oh, if you don't do this in the next 24 hours, then your freedom's gone forever, or this is your last chance for freedom. And I've really, as I've grown older and been in the space of kind of self-help, men's lifestyle over the last couple of years, obviously monitored a lot of different channels, seen a lot of people produce a lot of different things, and I've really become wise to what a lot of people are doing. And yeah, I understand the game is the game at the end of the day. A lot of people are looking to make a living on this, and a lot of people now survive on their online income. And whether they say they make as much as a lot of people claim they're making 10, 20, 50k a month online, who knows? But I initially got this idea about making this video because I saw in Instagram and fitness influencer Mike Thurston also has a YouTube channel, has about 1 million subscribers, I think maybe even more now. He recently released a handbook called the Digital Playbook, I believe. And this is priced at around £400. So that is quite expensive to the everyday person who is probably just working a normal job, or might be probably a lot younger, to be fair. They're probably not even working a job. They're probably still in education, and they'll be looking at Mike and his lifestyle and be like, yeah, that's kind of a lifestyle that I would want to live. And again, I fell down this rabbit hole. And I've always seen Mike Thurston as someone who wasn't really very salesy, and he was never really trying to like push anything. But I think this recent course made me very much look at him in a different light. And I looked at the comments immediately, and I saw that a lot of people were calling him a sellout, and it was like, oh, I can't believe you've done this, you're just like all the other guys. And that's going to be very difficult for him to take personally. I'm sure he would have seen those comments and thought, oh, that's not what I want to do, that's not how I want my audience to see me. And I feel like at that point when you kind of do sell out in a way, you lose that credibility that you've built with your audience. And for me, I never would want to be that guy who brings something out and people are like, oh, it's a lot of money. At the end of the day, you're going to get people who hate on you, and I've had that too myself. But I don't want to be that guy who's just bringing out courses that are quite expensive to the modern day person, and yeah, just trying to just sell them a lifestyle that might not be obtainable for the average person. And you have to understand that a lot of this does come down to luck, whether we like to admit it or not. A lot of people out there have made one video, and you can say you make your own luck a lot of the time, and I truly believe that can be the case. But timing is very key. And you look at someone like Hamza, another guy I've followed for a long time, and I just kind of see him recycle the same content over and over again. The titles are pretty much the same. It's like how to text girls, and this is what you do, this is the best online business to start in 2024. It's just the same thing over and over again. If you look back to his videos a year ago, 2 years ago, he's saying the exact same things really. It might be slightly edited. And the thing with Hamza, I've noticed he's kind of switched up. He changes what he says and what he believes, and I feel like he is losing his older audience, people like me who used to watch him a lot because I thought his videos were really good. And like I say, I'm not calling him out really. I'm just kind of saying that I just don't think this is very like a good role model really for a lot of young people to follow. And yeah, I don't want a lot of people to fall kind of down, like I say, that rabbit hole that I fell down, and just seeing these guys bringing out their courses and being like, oh, he's living the dream life. A lot of it is fake, and you really do realise that the longer you kind of watch these guys, and a lot of it isn't genuine and authentic. And that's something that I take great pride in myself. I always like to be real with you and anyone in my life, like what's going on and whatever it is. I'd always want to be honest and not lie about anything. I never have on this channel, and I never plan to do so, because I just feel like in the long term that is the guy that wins. That is a guy who stays true to himself, stays true to his values, stays true to his vision. That is the guy that does win. And going back to Iman Gadzhi, I think he is probably the guy that he has probably lost a lot of credibility with his audience. At the end of the day, yes, he's a great salesman, he's great at marketing, like one of the best in the world. He's made millions of pounds selling courses, using his own services, and to be where he is at 23 years old, I think, is remarkable. I think any guy is going to look at him with some envy, and yeah, probably myself, I'm looking at him and like, God, I kind of do just look at him and be like, yeah, he's done really well. I'm not really pissed off with him that he's achieved a lot at his age. He's worked hard for it, but I just don't like how he like had this scarcity mindset that if you don't buy his course, then your life is over, you're going to be like a wage slave forever, or your life is just in bits, and that's the only option, to buy his course or nothing. And he's just done it time and time again. And people like myself, and maybe you, if you're a bit older, you've probably seen that and been like, yeah, I've seen this guy do it time and time again. The first time I kind of fell for it and believed it, but he's done it like 4 or 5 times, and you're just like, why does he need to do this? I just don't think it's the right thing to do. But yeah, that's kind of the people I've seen. Just a few examples. Like I say, I have a lot of respect for these guys, and I'm sure they are great guys deep down, but I just don't think for you watching it might not be the best thing for you, particularly if you're a young guy, to believe everything that these guys say, and because that's something that I did, and yeah, I don't think is the best thing for you. But the next area I want to kind of mention and kind of link it to is the modern day dating. So something I've made a few videos on, as you would have seen in my channel if you've been watching for a long time. Modern day standards, and I think particularly from women. I'm not calling anyone out, I'm not making this video about women, but we've heard a lot of times, especially as young men, that we need to be over 6 foot, we need to be making 6 figures a year, or we're just nothing, we're not considered. And this is, again, very extreme example, and there's only a small proportion of women that truly do believe like this, but there is definitely kind of a group of women that have been led to believe like this is important, and this is what they should look for in a man. It's very much a Western culture thing to believe, particularly in the US. I think it's a lot worse in the US than the UK. I believe. I'm not from the US, but from what I've seen, a lot of it does come from US, and a lot of the kind of the podcasts you see of women that go on these guys' podcasts and they kind of try and expose them. It's not nice, but I understand it, and I think it probably does open a lot of these women's eyes when they kind of break down the statistics, as I will do in a minute, that it's just quite delusional, very delusional, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't say this because I'm insecure or anything like that. I'm 5'10" myself. I'm not very tall, I wouldn't say. I'm like pretty much average height, especially in the UK. So I'm not really like that bothered about it. I just think if you are a woman and that's what you're valuing, you're not going down the right path. I don't think you're ever really going to find a true long-lasting relationship where you're both satisfied, you're both happy and secure in your relationship. You're looking at the wrong things, and I just think that is the main point. I'm more looking out for you than me being like, oh, it's not fair and all of this, whatever. If that's your preference for a guy to be 6 foot, then good for you. But I don't know, I think a lot of women out there who have said this, it's just kind of because they've been told to believe that's what matters. A lot of these girls are like 5 foot nothing, so like in terms of height, if I was a girl, I would want to be with a guy that's taller than me, and I'd want to be with a girl that's shorter than me. That's my preference. I understand it from that point of view. But when we look at height, if we break down the stats, I think it's around 9% of men in the world are over 6 foot. So okay, you're taking out 90% of the population straight away by saying that a guy has to be over 6 foot. And how many of those guys would you find attractive if we put them in front of you? So you've got say you had 100 people, and let's say we broke it down to 10 people who are over 6 foot. And then out of those 10 guys, how many of those guys did you find physically attractive? And again, because of the people that are saying that they have to be over 6 foot, they're going to be probably quite superficial, and they're going to be valuing their looks as one of their priorities. And again, I think, it's important. Looks matter. No one can say that they don't. But how many of those guys would you say are physically attractive to the average person? Maybe 3 of those people, maybe 2, I don't know. So you, again, 2-3 people out of 100 people you're narrowing it down to. And then if you want to look at money and anything else, so I think it's around 4% of men earn over 100k in the United Kingdom. And like, you just break down all these little things: looks, money, height, anything else, like stuff that you should truly actually consider, like kind, caring, empathetic, emotionally controlled, stable, know what they want, have a plan. All these, I could go on for days about the stuff that actually matters when you should be considering a relationship, that a lot of people are going to also want as well as these other things. So it's pretty much, there's just no one out there if you look at it from that perspective. And it gives me kind of a headache to even speak about it, because unfortunately a lot of women, and probably men too, have been kind of, from porn and stuff, been disillusioned to be led down this wrong path, and that what they require from a woman and what will make them happy is probably not what it seems. So I want to finish this video with a bit of advice, because I don't want it to just be a rant, and I hope it's not come across as really negative and that I'm really bitter or I'm trying to really call people out. I'm just trying to say it as it is. I'm trying to offer you some guidance. And I do believe that the tides are beginning to turn. I believe that we are seeing a large cohort of people being like, yeah, this is not making me happy. All the stuff that the media, society, movies told me to believe, it's not actually doing anything for me. It doesn't make me happy in my life, but I got told it, and I'm like, yeah, that's not really what I thought it would be. So it might be something else. It might be something actually inside of me. It might be, I might actually have to look inside myself, do some introspective work, take some time away from social media and find out what are my values, what I truly want from my life, not what other people have told me. And I think that that's key. You have to look inside. You have to be authentic and relatable to the average person, whether you're a man or a woman. That's something, again, I truly value. I always want to be relatable to you, whoever you are in the world. And like I say, I look at my personal struggles. I've been through a lot in my life at the age of 22, and I like to think I can relate to a lot of people who have been through similar hardships or whatever it may be. And I always want to have that. And I feel like a lot of people, once they get fame, money, status, whatever it is, they kind of lose that. And you see someone like Sam Sulek rise up, and a lot of his videos completely unedited. There's no background music. They're not like all animated, and so just dopamine everywhere in his videos, putting all these animations in. There's nothing like that. And I think that's why he's doing so well. I think we're going to see more of that going forward, and I truly hope we do, because that's when I started YouTube. That's how I wanted it to be. I would look at a lot of guys and see someone like Hamza, especially, making these super hyper edited videos, and see him killing it. But I was like, I don't really want to do that. But a lot of people would tell me to do that because that's what works. But I don't think that's being a chameleon isn't the answer. It's only going to work short term. And the person who stays true to themselves and what they believe in has the most credibility, and that's what builds you long-lasting success, is what I believe anyway. And this is the way that, if you want to look at it from a religious, spiritual point of view, this is the way that God would want you to live, being authentic to yourself, doing what you believe is right. And I believe that He will give you what you require, what you truly desire in life, if you just put put your cards out on the table, be that person who you really want to be. And that's how I'm going to end this video. I think that's important. I hope this video has been helpful in some way. I'm not sure if it has been, but yeah. I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. My one-to-one personal coaching link. If you want any more guidance on anything else, that'll be below. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.